Hello, my name is Paige Stone, and today I'll be talking about forensic science. The basics behind forensic science is the collection, identification, preserving, and examining of information to help solve a crime scene. This can be done either in a laboratory or just simply collecting evidence. So a little bit about the process of forensic science. First, we have forensic drug testing, used on unknown powders, liquids, substances, and pills found at a crime scene. Paint analysis is where the layers of the paint are examined in order to find said unknown chemicals left behind. Then the gunshot residue is when a gun is fired. It leaves a little particles of gunpowder left behind in order to help identify where the gunshot came from, where the shooter was standing, where the gun was pointed, the bullet entered, whatnot. Fibers are left behind at crime scenes from usually clothing or furniture, sometimes carpet, and that can be used to help put pieces together when looking for a victim or a suspect. Fingerprints are used to help identify a victim or a suspect, can be left on like door handles or even on glass in order to identify people. DNA is used with PCR in order to run tests to also get an identity. These are some of the most commonly used tools and equipment used to do these tests, such as our analytical balances is one of the common ones, just like we use in class, microscopes, freezers, spectrometers, centrifuges. A little bit of a history behind forensic science is it actually started in the Romans' time when the first homicides were taking place using chemicals. So pharmacology really took off during this time, and it was used to help solve the first crime scene by looking at those unknown chemicals that killed other people. The history of an autopsy is to help determine the cause of death. The first one was done on Roman common folk and politicians, but one was even done on Julius Caesar in order to determine his cause of death. Present-day developments, the Phenom Desk SEM is a friendly tool used for high-definition elemental components, being able to scan an unknown substance and easily identify it. Alternative light photography is where the light can shine on a person's body to be able to detect internal bleeding and look for possible injuries that aren't as visible to our eyes. Facial reconstruction helps us allow to get a better picture of a face that might have been mutilated in a case. Well, a 3D scanner is this little picture in the top right here in order to get a complete 360 view of a crime scene, being able to mark distances between objects to paint a better picture. And then we have the automated fingerprint identification. Just like it sounds, it's basically using those fingerprints in a database to look for an identity. Some future developments in forensic science as the technology is being advanced day by day, becoming more high depth. This concept of learning information using technology is more than we can even fathom nowadays. It tends to have more transparent and valid results being able to be used in the criminal justice system. So how does this fit into Chem 110? This relates to forensic science by using these tools up above, as well as examining compounds that may be mixed in order to find out key crucial information in a crime scene. Other fields that also use forensic science are law enforcement. They may use different forensic science methods in order to obtain their evidence, like facial recognition, probabilistic genotyping, and latent print analysis. Some positive societal impacts from forensic science, the first one being information ordering, being able to record and prepare reports and then bringing them to the courtroom, coordination, then using those different test documents and such to compile a case, compile a story, recreate what happened. Law and government, these pieces of information can be used in a testimony in order to bring justice to a family who might have lost a loved one in a homicide case. Inductive reasoning, being able to recreate the crime scene. Science, obviously using science to the best of our ability to understand what took place even though we weren't there by looking at these different elements and compounds and understanding what chemicals were used and such. Near vision, to obtain information by examining the crime scene, visiting morgues and visiting the crime scene to collect evidence. And then chemistry, by using formulas and solutions, reagents, and such to complete these tests in the lab. Some negative societal impacts. This could lead to a misleading testimony because we are still developing that technology. It's not as advanced. So sometimes the evidence could be faulty, sufficient validation of a method. Sometimes we can't exactly prove how we figure something out. They're not 100% foolproof. It might tell you that a chemical is one thing, but it might not really be that. They might have similar components. And unreliable for forensic discipline, like bite marks and for example, may result on someone, a victim, who they might think was bitten by a suspect, but in reality, maybe this happened before, or it could have been a dog or somebody else before the homicide even took place. So there's a lot of variables that could affect the aspect of how true this piece of information could be in relation to a court case. So in conclusion, forensic science is a really underrated science that allows us to do many incredible things. Like I said before, collecting that evidence allows us to identify our suspects and our victims, being able to map out that scene, and providing closure and justice to those families and loved ones who have lost someone due to a homicide, and make sure to put that suspect behind bars. And that is all. Thank you.